compete and work with the regulators.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're basically saying?
Yeah, I think that if we were Bitcoin only, we wouldn't have a treasure chest to go and lobby for regulation to protect Bitcoin, right? So, I mean, I'm probably starting to sound like Sam right now, but if this is like a, an effective altruistic kind of like statement, but we make money from trading shit coins, and that money goes to pumping Bitcoin, basically, defending Bitcoin. And, maybe it's a necessary evil, because we wouldn't have that money to buy those arms, those weapons for the battle for Bitcoin without that.
I think we're in a similar position in some ways. People are like, why do you have that sponsor? They're not a Bitcoin only company. The ability to take this team around the world and make this show is the fact that we work with companies who also have crypto. We don't promote their products. We only say buy Bitcoin here, but that gives us the budget to do this, to take a team around the world, to have this equipment, to produce a great Bitcoin show. Mm-hmm. I do wrestle with it. I mean, I'm sure you've wrestled with it as well.
Yeah, I don't tell my family to buy shitcoin number 5,000. I'm just saying, like, basically buy Bitcoin and put it away, and like don't look at it for another 20 years. But I think we got to appreciate that these other coins are generating a bunch of revenue, which does ultimately fund Bitcoin stuff, stuff that's getting the show out, getting us to lobby in DC, the massive security team that Kraken has that protects Bitcoin. So I hope that whether you're a Bitcoin maximalist or not, I think you can think Bitcoin is going to be the world's reserve currency, and you can think everything else is a shitcoin. And I think at the same time, you can say, like, look, they're coming for all of us together. And if we're on the side, like fighting each other when they come, we're just going to get screwed. And, for the sake of the future of the space, I think Bitcoin alone doesn't have enough firepower to win this. And I think we gotta use everyone's troops together.
I've just been stunned by the brilliance of this collective group of attorneys and business people. Perhaps to end, I would love if there's an intrepid soul amongst you willing to make a prediction as to A, the outcome of the legal case itself, and B, the outcome on the legislative front. We all keep saying to ourselves that ultimately this is something that ought to be resolved through a political process, through sane, intelligent legislation. That hasn't happened yet. I'd love to hear your views on whether you see that happening as well in the foreseeable near future.
I'll quickly, the way I think it's going to happen is I think Ripple's going to win, or the summary judgment will be decided where XRP is not inherently a security, secondary market, the ledger itself, those are not securities. And I think the facts are muddled enough for summary judgment purposes. So I'm not talking about the truth of the facts. I'm just saying for summary judgment purposes, the rest will be going to trial. But I think at that point, because the big win will have been done, that's when the SEC says, okay, Ripple, we won't go to trial. Now you pay us the money. And their leverage will be less than it would have been right now. But they just want to see if they can win this. And when they get that loss, I think that's when they'll fold.
Bitcoin, and this was based, you were asked, Charlie said Bitcoin's like rat poison. You were asked about that comment, and you said, well, it's probably more like rat poison squared. Charlie went on in the meeting to then basically call Bitcoin turds.
He is an expressive sort of thing. Maybe when he gets a little older, he'll mature.
I just want to ask you about that because it sparked so much controversy, and particularly on Twitter and some of the places where you might expect people who are trading in cryptocurrency to be pretty loud about what they heard. What is it about Bitcoin that gets you guys so fired up?
Well, when you buy a farm, you look at the crop every year and what prices are, and you decide whether it was a satisfactory investment. I mean, you look to the asset itself and what it produces for you. When we buy a business, we look at what the business earns and decide how we feel about it in terms of what we paid. But we are buying something that at the end of the period, we not only have what we bought in the first place, but we have something that the asset produced. And when you buy non-productive assets, all you're counting on is whether the next person is going to pay you more because they're even more excited about another next person coming along. But the asset itself is creating nothing. One of the interesting things, for example, is gold. If you go back to the time of Christ and you look at how many hours of labor you had to give up in order to buy an ounce of gold, and you take it forward to now, you'll find the compound rate maybe 1/10 or 0.2%. And then you have to insure it during that time and make sure somebody doesn't steal it from you and everything. But it doesn't produce anything. And productive assets, you can pay too much for a productive asset. But I bought a farm in the 1980s, and every year look at how much it produced the way of soybeans and corn. And at the end of that period, I've still got the farm, and I've gotten some significant income off of it. Apartment house, operating business. But if you and I buy various cryptocurrencies, they're not going to multiply. They're not going to be a bunch of rabbits sitting there in front of us. They're just going to sit there.
Listen carefully to the wordplay in Buffett's video. Now, if you've been in the XRP army long enough, I'm sure you can pick up on the hidden cues in that video. Without a doubt, Bitcoin is and will always be a shitty coin. Yeah, I said it. You know why? Look, face it. Aside from birthing cryptos, Bitcoin has brought nothing but trouble to us, and that could potentially lead to the downfall of all cryptos. It's time that we finally find a new crypto that is worth taking up the crypto mantle. And sure as hell, it is not Ethereum. The next best thing is XRP. Aside from Bitcoin, when this case is finally over, XRP will be the only crypto to have regulatory clarity. And that's worth something. But before we get down to business, let's roll that intro. As always, welcome to Moneyside, your favorite crypto channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you get updates when we drop new videos. And don't forget to smash that like button. And remember, you can leave a comment or question in the section below. Ripple recently tweeted saying functional NFTs have the potential to transform industries like real estate by solving challenges with efficiency and transparency of ownership. That will definitely be a game changer for the crypto world and will increase the usability of blockchain and decentralization. We all know transparency is the heart and soul of blockchain. Such features could be useful in the real estate sector. Imagine if one day our title deeds are in the form of NFTs on the XRP Ledger network. Wouldn't that be great? Now, from where I stand, I believe the Ripple team is trying to make that happen. And when they do, you can expect the price of XRP to go through the roof. Additionally, companies such as Stably are using the XRP ledger to issue stable coins. If there's one network which is the ultimate place to be, it is the XRP ledger, especially if your company is in the financial industry. Ripple, it's going to win this case, considering the entire crypto world is in its corner.
Because Ripple approximately owns half of the outstanding XRP, that's where a lot of people, when they just read that decision, would be like, uh-oh, Ripple's in trouble. But we can talk about why I don't believe Ripple is in trouble based on this decision if you want to. This judge in the Ripple case, she can read this opinion by this library judge and throw it away. She could say, this is silly, this is flawed reasoning, I'm not even going to consider it. Or she could read it and say, well, he makes a good point here or there, but ultimately she has to follow the case law precedent above her, which is the Second Circuit, and it is different. And so that's an important factor. A third difference is in the library case, there's not one amicus counsel, one amicus brief that was filed. In the Ripple case, there's been 17, 15 for Ripple and opposed to the SEC. Now, a judge can disregard amicus briefs. She can take them very seriously and give them a lot of weight. That's up to the judge. But the fact that in a district court case, such as the Ripple case, where you have 15 amicus briefs, you have XRP holders, 75,000 XRP holders filed a brief through what I filed for them. Then you have the Blockchain Association, the Digital Chamber of Commerce, Coinbase. You have individual companies like Spin the Bits. You and I met that the CEO and founder not too long ago. They filed a brief saying, "Hey, we use the XRP ledger. We never even heard of. We don't know anything to do with Ripple." And then you had a company called TapJets. TapJets is basically a company that it's an Uber for jets, right? If you want to fly from New York to California and you on the last minute's notice and it's Friday or Saturday, there's no banks open. You have to pay the pilot, the flight attendant, the fuel, all of that, landing fees. And so what do they accept? They accept XRP. And so that company, they said that XRP solves, Doc, what's called the Friday night problem. That when you want to access, a jet, but the banks are closed, yet you need to get, to the other side of the country. And,
And for some reason, this company's executives are going on with work as usual. In fact, a lot has happened ever since the SEC filed the case against Ripple. That goes to show that only the U.S. regulatory body thinks of XRP as a security. Unfortunately, right now, the whole world is using the FTX story to push regulations onto the crypto world. And the SEC is spearheading this endeavor. My question is, why didn't they go after FTX in the first place before the exchange lost so much money? And why are they taking so long to finally come up with the rules that can be used to govern the crypto world, despite Ripple pushing for regulatory clarity since the beginning of the case? If we don't do something about how the SEC is using force without direction, the entire crypto world will likely suffer from the consequences of a few ignorant individuals. Anyway, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. You can let us know always what you think in the comments section below. Let's start a conversation. Thank you so much for watching. Couldn't be here without you. Don't forget to like this video and please click on that subscribe button below. And be sure to turn on notifications. That way you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next Money Side.